God. Working?
Hello, hopefully this is working. Welcome to Athlete of the Week. Today we have Sarah Webb on the show. Welcome,
Hello.
Sarah.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Honored to be here. I'm doing, thank you. I'm doing good. Just catching up in my lunch break, which is good.
Great. Squeeze in a wee podcast, yeah. All right.
Exactly.
Pleasure to have you on this worldwide phenomenon of a show with millions and millions of people watching.
I know. I'm pretty nervous for today.
You should be. You should be very nervous. I'd be offended if you're not nervous. So
yeah, don't worry. Couldn't sleep last night.
Yeah, well, don't worry too much. There's lots of benefits as well to being exposed to so many people in the world. Anyway, let's get right into it. So we are having you on the show for what reason? That is the question. So it is
very good question.
You're Athlete of the Week because we're going to talk about your running and a bit about your running background, where you're at currently, and your future goals. And we want to get right into that. Especially want to talk about our commitment to each other, what we're gonna achieve, and when one of us has to,
the other has to.
Gets that goal, the other one has to do it as well. But anyway, let's start from the start. So tell us about how you got into running.
Okay, so I guess probably in my younger days, in primary school kind of age, I definitely wasn't very good at running. I think I was one of two people who didn't make it onto the cross country team in one of the trials in P6. So that definitely didn't start from a young age. But then I think sort of secondary school, I started to get into a bit more. Obviously, you were running quite a lot in those days, and Kirsten was probably pretty fit and healthy, our sister. So I remember that my first run with her, and I think I had to make her stop on probably about not even a kilometre run and sit down on a bench to catch my breath. So yeah, definitely built from a pretty low baseline. But then I got quite into it and did some running for cross country in school. And yeah, so that was probably just keeping up fitness, and I played hockey in school as well, so it was kind of a lot for that. And then kind of in uni, I probably got into a bit more actually enjoying the running, I'd say. And yeah, just doing it, fitting it my own agenda and not really seeing it as a chore anymore. So I'd say that's roughly been my journey with running.
Fair enough. So yeah, you said you weren't picked at the start from the cross country team. Sounds a bit harsh actually at that age.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah, you think they'd let everyone who wants to be on the team be on the team, but fair enough. So it was mainly hockey was your motivation for getting more fit at the start, was it, in secondary school when you're about 12?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was probably a part of me that enjoyed running to a degree, or else enjoyed feeling after a run maybe more than actually running, because I guess there was a reason that I sort of kept it up to a degree. And then so it was probably accompanying hockey for a while, and I definitely liked not feeling extremely out of breath on the pitch and being able to sprint for a ball without feeling like I'm going to die. So I think that's where my motivation came initially, and then as I said, kind of ended up doing a few competitions with hockey, and then my teachers kind of didn't let me not do them after that because it wasn't very popular in our school. So if you showed any kind of interest, they tracked you down for every competition. So I guess I kind of kept it up so I could keep that up. And yeah.
Yeah, so you're making the cross country team, and you showed some enthusiasm. You liked it quite a bit, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a very love-hate relationship. I would definitely remember getting quite nervous with the start lines. And I didn't really join a running club, and I remember a lot of the people who I was running against were part of these very intense running groups and had their very specific intense warm-ups before, and I kind of was looking around not knowing what to do. But I think I just had an attitude of just give it my best and then see what happens. And yeah, I think the feeling after was probably more addictive than anything. And just getting to the next stage. And kind of, I think a lot of the time you were also doing competitions and would end up going to different competitions together and things, which was also quite nice. Yeah,
very good. And at that time then, were you any good?
I mean, I did all right in the competitions, I think. I mean, as I said, it wasn't being super intense on it, and I still my favorite sport. But yeah, I managed to do decently in the competitions, and I think we went to All Ireland's a couple of, quite fun. I got the opportunity to go to London to do their mini marathon with a little Northern Irish team, which was a cool experience, where I went with a lot of random people who were picked up and good at running, and we did that. I say mini marathon, it was only a 5k, but it was just nice to be included in that and recognised. So yeah, I guess I started to get a bit better on that age.
Yeah, very good. And you've kept it up on and off through these years. Enjoying it mostly, but also not enough to ever take it too seriously. Would that be right?
Yeah.
You've never joined a running club or anything. You sort of what would you say your main purpose of doing running is? Is it to do the best you can, get faster times, or is it something else?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a mix, and there's kind of different motivations at different times in my life. And that, as I said, I've enjoyed it a lot more since coming to uni, and I think COVID was a big part of that, where obviously life slowed down a bit and we weren't allowed to go out much, and some of the only socializing you could do was by meeting up one other person and going on a run. So I enjoyed the social aspect of it during COVID, and I think my relationship with running changed a lot whenever you told me about the book that you read, the 80-20 book, where it basically just said the slower the better with running, and there's actually loads of benefits in terms of your performance if you slow your running down, which also makes it a lot more enjoyable if you can slow and not feel horrendously out of breath during the run. Also hold a conversation. So I think that was actually quite a breakthrough in that I wanted to do a lot more of it. So I ended up spending a lot more time running, not necessarily speedily at all, but just building that baseline up, I think. But then, of course, there has been times where I want to improve my performance, and that probably brings in our little deal we've got going on of our 5k time and wanting to improve that.
Yeah, sounds like you're leading this podcast, not me. That's fine. So what is our deal? When did we do this, and what was it?
Good question. I can't remember when we initially did it. I guess you probably had a goal in mind earlier than I did.
Which was the sub 17 5K, yeah.
Yeah,
So I've been pretty close. Well, I feel like I've been in shape for that. I just haven't performed. I remember, yeah, I've been close. I think my PB is 17:20 officially. I think I've probably been in shape for a 17 or just about below, but I've never been able to actually run that time officially. And I always thought I could do that. I feel like that's my potential. So that was an idea. Sub 17. That's what I talked about for a while, probably over 10 years.
yeah,
So yeah, that was my mark. And
yeah.
then what was yours?
And then I think I also kind of had a bit of a ballpark figure of 19 minutes in my mind, which at one point I probably was in shape for. Maybe a couple points in my life I have been in shape for, but for one reason or another, never got it or broken it. But yeah, I think I was a bit later to set my eyes on that. But when I mentioned it out loud, there's no really going back. It's
No.
been an idea ever since.
Yeah, it's been an idea. So you've had that. I think we've had this for at least four or 5 years, probably, haven't we? This deal,
Yeah,
which is basically hopefully, when one of us runs under that goal, sub 17 for me, sub 19 for you, the other one has to do it, basically. So it's either going to be two of us do it, hopefully, or none of us get to it. But that would be a sad life if we're old and in our armchair and we said we never got to this. Do you remember when we made that deal? The story was we never did any better than what we're currently on. So I'm on 17:20, 20 seconds away from it, and you are on 19:19. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're 19 seconds away, and I'm 20 seconds away.
So pretty even.
Yeah, but you'd be closer because it's a smaller percentage, 19. So, but yeah, I think also we sort of think that they're the equivalent difficulty, like a 19-minute run for your gender, female, is probably equivalent in terms of difficulty and standard for a 17-minute for my class.
Yeah.
Roughly. So
yeah.
And the money, the jury is undecided on who will get there first. At the moment, it varies depending on fitness and our personal motivations and where we're at. But
very much so.
I don't know where you're at the moment, but I am not near that at all right now.
Yeah, it's been some time since I've felt close to it, but yeah, and I think as well, usually when we end up in the same, both back at home for a bit or able to do a few runs together, it kind of reignites the motivation a bit.
The motivation, yeah.
But of course, you're on the other side of the world at the minute, so
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, we need a bit of bit of motivation, definitely, I'd say, personally anyway.
Yeah.
But I think so you've been starting a few park runs, haven't you?
Yeah, so I think we said something about in summer last time I saw you that we'd do like a 5K sort of time trial every month. And I think sometimes because we've got this big idea in our heads, I don't want to confront it, but I've been trying to do one no matter if I can put 90% in or if I can only put 70% in that day, just to keep a bit of an idea of where I'm at. To do that, I've been kind of trying to do park runs because that's the most enjoyable way, I think, for me, and most easy to motivate myself.
Yeah.
So did a few of those over Christmas and last few months. It's been good.
Yeah. What I know what's your strategy? Is it to go to whenever you feel like it, go to a park run, or are you trying to go to like one every other week or
good question? Well, it's a bit trickier now. I'm in Bristol because the one in Bristol is very much uphill and downhill, and it's not a very nice route at all, and not very accurate to a proper time for a 5K. So strategy wise, it's just kind of been going whenever there's the opportunity. But trying to go myself in 5K, but as long as I do 1 month, that's kind of my only
1 month.
kind of.
Okay. Yeah. And then and when you do that 1 month, is it like 100% effort or?
Not really, to be honest. I think I'm just sort of being kind to myself in that I'm not going to be able to put 100% in every day. So I mean, if I'm feeling good, I'll definitely try and put in as much as I can. But it's more just to make sure I'm not too scared to confront it every month.
Yeah. And then in between, are you just running? Do you try and run a certain number of times a week, or certain distance, or anything? Or is there any sort of strategy or plan for that?
Not a lot of structure to that at the minute. Yeah. It's I think I'm just sort of doing here, there, and whenever. But I'm kind of mixing it up with other types of exercise as well. So I maybe don't have that structure yet, but I'm thinking that I might, now's the new year, might be a good time to get back into it a bit more. Just have a bit of a rough plan, because it is always easier to just end up motivating yourself to do a bit more.
Yeah. And you talked about mentality of being kind to yourself and not putting too much pressure on yourself. Do you think that sometimes holds you back, like getting like pressurizing yourself, or if you have a time or a speed in mind, maybe less likely to actually turn up and the consistency isn't there? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's something we've talked about is just I think I've learned that the most important thing with running is that consistency and keeping a good relationship with it. Like I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not looking forward to going on a run, or I feel like I'm doing it just to tick a box. Like I want to still enjoy the sport of it. And I think I find that's when I end up doing the most running, because I want to. So just taking away those barriers is definitely helpful, I think.
Yeah, then why have any sort of goal or time in your mind at all? Is my question.
Yeah, good point. Because then I think the other side of it is like I do enjoy the competitive. It's a balance, isn't it? It's the competitive nature of it. Well, is something that appeals, and I think having a goal just whenever those days you're feeling good will push you from that 80% to 90% or whatever it might be. That I don't know, that's a good question. I guess it's just finding the balance between enjoying it and enjoying the actual act of it, and enjoying getting something out of it. And
I think you're right. I think it would be the other extreme. If you didn't have a goal, or if you didn't have challenge yourself, it would be too boring. Like you would also struggle to motivate yourself if you didn't have any idea of progression. So it's healthy to have a goal. It's just the way you manage it and see it. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to get there straight away, but it's nice to have. But I suppose if you didn't have a goal at all, then you might equally find it as unenjoyable. So you're right, there's that balance.
Exactly.
So what was your last 5K time? 21 something?
I think about that, 21:30 maybe. 21:20. A bit off.
Are you planning or foreseeing yourself to get back into the 19s, the sub 20s area, which I know you've been in on a few
Yeah,
occasions, but not quite
not
in
quite.
the low 19s.
Yeah,
But that's your sort of, it take
yeah,
once you're running well and consistently for a couple of months, you
yeah,
get into that sort of shape. Are you
yeah.
planning to get there anytime soon, or just see how the year goes and like
Uh,
catch a bit of a wind at some point, or do you have
yeah,
any idea or like perspective
yeah.
that
It's
you
a good
might get
question.
there?
It's yeah. I think you're right. It's having that consistency for a couple of months and um, fitting that in with the rest of life, I guess. And I've got pretty big exams coming up in June-ish, so it might be a good opportunity that that's something outside of medicine that I can focus on, enjoy, and that's my time out, and I end up getting somewhere with it. But equally, I don't know if it'll be just too much to have a big goal in mind, and I won't be able to put enough time into it to get there.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard for me to. I don't want to put. I think in terms of our balancing scale, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself this year
Yeah.
for that goal. But at the same time, if it happens that I'm able to keep up with a good bit of running and end up seeing results, I might then get the motivation to push it that bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Back into
So
practice.
would you be okay not achieving this goal this year in 2023?
I I think realistically, yeah, I would be okay with that. I mean, obviously, I would absolutely love to do it this year, but I think, yeah, I'm accepting that might well not happen this year.
And do you think you will do it this year if you had to? If you
Money.
were a betting woman, would you say you're going to do it this year or not?
Oh, I don't think I put money on it. Not this year.
Okay. And
Saying yes.
and what else are you? And if you don't get it this year, are you going to keep having this? Do you think it's something you're gonna have to do in your life? Would you, like, in the next 10 years or whatever, do you see yourself keeping this idea in your mind, or do you think you'll ever get to a point where you're like, oh, it doesn't actually really matter, I'm okay with not getting this arbitrary goal I've set myself? Or do you think year after year you'll always have this in your mind that you will like to keep chasing? What do you think about it?
I think we've gone too far for me to let it slide. I think it's always going to be in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's there, fortunately, but yeah, I think it's always going to be there, and I really hope that at some point in my life it can become somewhat of a priority, and I just do it and then feel great after and never run again afterwards.
Is that what you think you'll do? Never run again?
I guess it'll be interesting to see, because I don't know if I'll be as satisfied as I think I'll be, and I'll just want to put my feet up, or if it spark more competition within me, and I want to.
Be interesting. Yeah. Who knows?
If we ever, who knows?
Yeah. Will we ever get there?
Who
Will
knows?
I ever run a sub 17? Will Sarah ever run a sub 19 5K? Who knows?
Comment below. Bet on us below, and who will get it first?
Yeah. Where will we be this time
Yeah.
in 5 years or whatever, 10 years, or when we're much older? Like, will we be having this conversation and say, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and there's video evidence of us talking about it,
Yeah.
Or will it be like, oh yeah, damn it, it was harder than we thought. We never got there. We never got faster than our current PBs. Or will we be like, we did it, I did it, and then you did it like a few months after, or vice versa? Yeah. I don't know. All I know is right now, personally, I'm like, probably minimum like 6 months away from getting close to that, and that would be 6 months of actual proper training. Because I haven't.
Yeah. So if I was to ask me,
Yeah.
do you would you bet on doing it this year, or
Would I?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would hope that this year I can run, certainly, like I think my last 5K was like a 20:37. So for my standards, I'm pretty out of shape. Like, but that's with me not doing running, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't get there's potential to improve a lot if I just start running a bit more. But I certainly would like to get to be running certainly sub 19 this year. As I would also say sub 18. I'd like to get in the 17s this year. I think is pretty doable. I think most years I can get into at least that shape for a while. You know, sub 18 in the high 17s is definitely very doable, and it wouldn't take that much effort, you know. But it's from that point then shaving off whatever it is, 30 to 40 seconds or even 20 seconds becomes harder, and it's harder to maintain. But I would say I'll run a sub 18 this year. I'd hope to do that, just for my own, like, at least I've done that this year again, because I don't want to get too far away from it. It would be worrying if the years go by and I don't get even, if I constantly, like, I'm not even getting into that sort of like sub 18 area at some point in the year. So I would like that to happen, and then it's a question of, will I go down even further from then? But I think, I don't think I will. I think I'll be happy enough with a sub 18 this year at some point, and then maybe the next year, if I have some level of long-term consistency with it, give me a chance to maybe try and think about it in 2024. That's my rough sort of realistic expectations for my but it's possible, you know. Exactly. If I put my mind to it, if I put a bit more focus to it, and like, it's something I know I could do. You're probably the same. You know, it's very possible, and there's no excuse not to, if we were to just put our mind to it, make sacrifices for a long period of time. But like, is it? It's with all the other things going on, it's hard to commit that. Or even find the reason why would we do it. Like, maybe when I'm like 35 or something, or 40 or something, I'm like I can't. It'll be harder and harder to have that sort of speed. I might be in more of a rush to try and get it done, but I sort of feel like I'm 27. I probably have like, 8 to 10 more years of a good opportunity to at least do it. But I don't know. Maybe there's a part of it. It's like, once I've done it, what else am I going to be doing? Like, maybe that's a thing. I kind of don't want to actually achieve it. But maybe not.
Could be a part of it.
Definitely. Oh well, very good. And it'll be good to see your progress anyway this year with your running. And I guess one thing we didn't talk about, which we can quickly say, is also you've done like a few longer stuff as well recently. Like, you've done ultra marathons. So you've done 50K is your longest one?
50K.
And you've done that twice?
I've just done it once. So I've done 2 marathons and one 50K, which is officially an ultra marathon, but it's probably the shortest ultra marathon you can get, because it's just kind of over that marathon distance, obviously. So I think that was also kind of came in with the COVID, just doing lots more running and just pushing distance was my focus for a while. I definitely really enjoyed that. It's good to mix shorter, faster stuff and the more slow-paced stuff.
Very impressive. And do you plan on doing any of that long stuff anytime soon?
Again? I would definitely like to. um, I've got a friend training for a marathon soon, so I said I'd try and increase my distance when she's training as well, just like build it up again because it's been a while since I've done anything that long really. So yeah, I definitely like to build up my distance a bit. I used to really, really enjoy the longer runs we did and like exploring new places and running through places that I wouldn't usually go. So yeah, I think I would definitely like to do a bit more of that, but no main events or specific runs I've got in mind at the minute.
Okay, great. Well, pleasure talking to you, Sarah,
Yeah.
as always. And I know
Pleasure.
you have to go to your tutorial soon enough, don't you?
Yeah.
Doesn't stop. So thanks very much for taking the time
Of course.
to talk to me
Mhm.
and the whole world listening. Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
so
very
much.
much for being on Athlete of the Week. And yeah, I will be very excited to hear about your running progress throughout this year, as always. And it's
Yeah.
always motivating for me personally because I'm very cautious of how far away you are from that 19 bar and how far away I am from my 17. So yeah. So I think you're a bit closer to it than me at the moment. So I should probably get a move on. I might even go for a run now. Who knows?
Well, there you go.
Okay, great.
Having me.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I think I will just stop recording, which is this button here.